Arsenal, Arsenal, Arsenal. What is going on, everyone? Welcome back to the Full 90. Today, it is going to be the Week 13 Premier League predictions. And I want to give a massive shout out to Pat the Cat, who left their predictions on the previous video and had an absolute cracker. If you look down at the bottom half of the predictions, it was absolutely insane. Southampton to win 2-0. Spurs and Palace to draw 1-1. The Fulham-Liverpool result was wrong, but the tip, Salah to score over 1.5 goals, was right. Burnley and Arsenal to be drawing at half-time, and then Burnley to win 1-0 at full-time. Absolutely unreal. And then the Leicester and Brighton result was wrong, but the tip of Jamie Vardy to score was correct. So if you want your predictions featured in the next episode of the Premier League predictions, then be sure to leave yours down in the comments below. And also, thanks to all of the support from all of you guys, this video once again is brought to you and sponsored by the OneFootball app. If you don't know what it is, you are missing out. It is a free app available on iOS and Android, and it's got everything that you need to stay informed when it comes to football. You can of course favorite and follow your favorite teams. Obviously I favorite Arsenal. You can follow your favorite leagues and keep up to date on everything football related. You get little alerts on your phone if there's ever any breaking news that you are definitely going to want to know about. The user face is really easy to navigate, and it's just the best app. It's totally free, and like I said, it's the best app for all of you guys that are wanting to be informed with everything as far as football is concerned. You can tailor the experience to meet your own needs, and it is a really good app. So definitely go and download it using the link in the description. It really helps support me and keeps these videos going as well. Now let's take a little look back at my week 12 predictions and the results. It wasn't too great. Obviously we had the Southampton win 2-0 as well. That was a pretty good prediction. We had Newcastle to beat West Brom 2-1, which I thought was pretty good, to be fair, and both teams to score on over 2.5 goals in the Leeds West Ham game. But other than that, it was pretty rough. It was pretty rough. So let's brush that aside and move on into week 13 and hopefully get some better luck this time round. Kicking off, we have Wolves up against Chelsea. Now, Wolves somehow lost 1-0 to the 10 men of Aston Villa. Not a great showing from Wolves. It looked like it was going to be a 0-0 written all over it, but then Wolves just lost in the end. Chelsea, of course, falling prey to Goodison Park once again. Chelsea just don't seem to travel to Goodison Park very well, and their streak finally came to an end. Everton buoyed by their win over Chelsea. So I think this is going to be a low scoring game, and I've got an interesting tip for you. I'm going to go for a 2-0 away win to Chelsea. I think they're going to need to bounce back, and to be fair, I think Kai Havertz, he looked a little bit ropey against Everton. He looked like he wasn't quite almost ready for the Premier League, you might even say. So hopefully, I think for their sake, Chelsea will bounce back. My tip is going to be Chelsea win and under 4.5 goals at 1.95. I thought that was some really good value, because if Chelsea win, it's not going to be 5-0 or 3-2 or 4-1. It's going to be low scoring, and that just bumps up the value of a Chelsea win from like 1.6 to 1.95. So I chucked that in there. Next up, it is Manchester City up against West Brom. West Brom unable to get anything from Newcastle, and Manchester City unable to get anything more than a 0-0 draw against Manchester United. That was a derby to forget, I would say. I think this game is going to be a conclusive victory for Manchester City. I'm going to go for a 4-0 win. My tip is Manchester City -1 handicap, and to be winning at half-time and full-time at 1.61. I was debating Manchester City to win 2-0, but I'm always so hesitant with that market, because anything can happen in 90 minutes, and any team could get a goal against anyone, and if this ends, 4-1, I'd be kicking myself. So I'm going to go for a 4-0. My tip is -1 handicap and half-time, full-time at 1.61. Now, next up, it is Arsenal up against Southampton. One of the teams pushing for the Champions League spots, one of the teams trying to avoid relegation, and it is definitely the wrong way round. It's not. Southampton are a fantastic team. Arsenal have been very woeful recently. I think Aubameyang's got more own goals from open play than goals from open play now, which is just crazy. That's since he signed his new contract. I'm going to go for a higher scoring game here, because Southampton won't allow this game to be low scoring, because a lot of Arsenal games have been lower scoring. Their defence does look a little bit better. We just don't look that great going forward. I think Southampton are going to open this game up. I think as a result, Arsenal are going to score a couple goals. So I'm going to go for a 2-2 draw. But my tip is Southampton double chance, or Southampton not to lose, at 1.61, which is a real shame to say as an Arsenal fan. But Southampton have always been a little bit of a bogey team for us anyway. So I'm going to go for a 2-2 draw. Next up, it is Leeds up against Newcastle. And I think this is going to be a very close game. You'd think at home Leeds would be able to get the win. I'm not sure if Leeds are in a place in the UK where they can have fans in the ground. But Newcastle have been on some pretty good form lately, and I do fancy them to get something from this game. So I'm going to go for a 1-1 draw, but given Leeds' attack going forward and Newcastle's sort of newfound attack as well, with Callum Wilson in there scoring goals, I think this could end more than 1-1. It could end 2-2 or something like that. My tip is simply both teams to score at a nice price of 1.75. Now, next up, it is Leicester up against Everton. Leicester dispatching of Brighton much easier than most teams this season, and Everton getting a win against Chelsea. That's 2 1-0 wins Everton have got against the odds this season, against Tottenham on the opening day and a very informed Chelsea side as well. So Everton will be happy with that, and this one is therefore very, very difficult to predict for me. I could see it ending 1-1, but you know what? I think 3-0 against Brighton, I can't look past that. I'm going to go for a Leicester win. I'm going to go for Leicester to win 2-1, and my tip is going to be Leicester double chance and over 1.5 goals at 1.61 to allow for a 1-1 draw or a 2-0 or something like that. Now, next up, Fulham up against Brighton. Brighton losing soundly to Leicester, and Fulham undeservedly, they could have got the win against Liverpool, and then a Salah penalty near the end, got Liverpool the draw. But Fulham are looking good, and I tell you what, Paddy Power will be kicking themselves for paying out to everyone who bet on Fulham to get relegated, because Fulham are making a push for it. But nevertheless, this game, I think it's going to be end-to-end. I think both teams like attacking more than defending, to be honest. I think they're both better at it. So, Brighton could easily win this one. I think this is a very similar matchup in my eyes as Brighton and Southampton, but Brighton being the Southampton figure and Fulham being the Brighton figure. So I could see a 2-1 away win to Brighton, similar to how Southampton did that to Brighton. But I'm going to go for a 2-2 draw, and my tip is going to be both teams to score and over 2.5 goals at 2.37. Obviously, the Brighton-Southampton game, I had that same tip at a similar value, and it did come in, so I'm looking forward to that one. Now, next up, game of the week, top of the table clash. It's Liverpool up against Tottenham. Neither team able to get a win to solidify their place at the top of the table. I predicted both teams would win 3-0 last week, and both teams drew 1-1 last week. So this is going to be a very, very interesting game. I was thinking perhaps, based on the way I've seen Tottenham play recently, maybe a very, very low scoring game, like a 1-0 win to Liverpool or something like that. But Liverpool, I think they're just going to win. I think they are. Tottenham at Anfield don't have the best record. No one really has a great record at Anfield, but the last 2 times these two met at Anfield, it ended in a 2-1 win to Liverpool, and the time before that it was a 2-2 draw. So goals are potentially on the cards in this game, and it's hard to look past the scoring form of Tottenham and just the overall form of Liverpool. So I'm going to go for that 2-1 win to Liverpool to make it a 3rd time in a row, but my tip is going to be Liverpool double chance and both teams to score. So that allows for a 1-1, the 2-1 I've suggested here, or a massively high-scoring game as long as Tottenham don't win. Like I said, at 1.9, that is a pretty good value. 2-1 to Liverpool here. Now, the next game is one I found very, very difficult to predict. It's West Ham up against Crystal Palace. West Ham are in some brilliant form, getting an amazing result away from home against Leeds, and Crystal Palace able to draw 1-1 with Tottenham. So both teams coming off of a pretty good week, and both teams are looking fairly decent. I think if this was a few weeks ago, I would have given the win to West Ham, but Crystal Palace, ever since, West Brom got that red card and they all of a sudden clicked, they were then able to get a draw with Tottenham. I think they're playing a little bit better. So I'm going to go for a 1-1 draw, but in my eyes, I think West Ham should be the better team here, especially at home. So my tip here is going to be West Ham double chance and under 3.5 goals at 1.72. That allows for a 2-1, even a 3-0, a 1-1, a 0-0, something like that. As long as it's not an absolute goal fest, which I can't imagine it will be, this tip should come in, unless Palace get like a 1 or 2-0 away win. But that's the beauty of it. You never know what's going to happen. Now, next up, it's Aston Villa up against Burnley. Burnley fighting relegation, catching up to Arsenal, winning 1-0. Fantastic result for them, even if it wasn't in the greatest fashion. It was a little bit of an ugly win. And Aston Villa getting the smash and grab late winner against Wolves away from home. A brilliant result for them. And if Aston Villa win their 2 games in hand, they're right up there. About, I think, 4 points off Liverpool and Tottenham if they do win. So I think this is going to be Aston Villa's game to win at home. Fairly comfortable, but pretty low scoring as well. I'm going to go for a 2-0 win to Aston Villa, and my tip is going to be Aston Villa to win at 1.75. Now, the final game of the week, it is Sheffield United up against Manchester United, and I only see one result here. I think it's starting to get to the point where football fans all over the world are looking at Sheffield United and they're thinking, Are we seeing another derby here? Are we seeing another derby season where Sheffield United could get the lowest Premier League points total of all time? They're on 1 point after 12 games, and I'll be honest, I don't see them getting a point here. Manchester United, away from home, performing well. I'm going to go for a 3-1 win to Man United. I was tempted to have Bruno Fernandes to score any time as my tip, but I went a little bit safer, and I went Manchester United to win and over 1.5 goals. So that's 2-0 and above. 2-1, just not a 1-0 basically, and Manchester United to win at 1.8. So that is going to do it for my predictions for the Week 13 of the Premier League. So it would see Chelsea win, City win, Arsenal and Southampton draw, Leeds and Newcastle draw, Leicester win, Fulham and Brighton to draw, Liverpool to win, West Ham and Palace to draw, and then Aston Villa and Manchester United both to win as well. So please do drop your predictions down in the comments below. I'd love to see them, and if you do predict some kind of upset or if you provide a really good tip like Pat the Cat did in last week's video, I'll give you a shout out in the next video, which is of course coming up very, very soon because the fixture list is absolutely full. Massive shout out once again to OneFootball for sponsoring these videos and making all of the videos possible. Leave a like if you guys did enjoy, subscribe so you don't miss a future video, and I will see you in the next one very soon.